Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Obsessive Compulsive Gaming. I am the Obsessive Compulsive Gamer, joined once again by my faithful manservant / Bucktotem Bertrum. Say hello, Bertrum. And this is our review for CONSCRIPT. So, dear viewer, if you don't mind, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and like this video. So, Bertrum, how is it hanging? No time for that right now, Bertrum. We have to review this game. And I can hear all of you out there, dear viewers, saying very loudly, very proudly, what the hell is this game? And I'm so glad you asked, dear viewer. The basic premise of this game is that during the First World War, a lone French soldier must navigate twisted trenches, scavenge for limited supplies, and solve complex puzzles, all whilst fighting for survival in the midst of mankind's most brutal and horrifying conflict. CONSCRIPT is a new take on classic survival horror. Apparently. Strange combination of words, isn't it? Survival horror. Rather like bottoms up. You see, when I think of survival horror, I think of that beautiful bearded bastard Barry Burton. I think of Resident Evil. I think of zombies. I think about being stranded on an ocean liner that's been taken over by some nefarious creatures. A la that PlayStation 2 classic Code Fear. I maybe even think of Silent Hill. I don't necessarily think of a game set during World War I that has absolutely no supernatural elements whatsoever. So I feel kind of short-changed. I was told that this game was like Resident Evil during World War I. So you can imagine my dissatisfaction when I started to play through this game and realized quite quickly, this is just another boring World War I game. And yes, before any of you start on me, I understand the game is about the horrors of the World War, but that doesn't automatically give it a pass as a survival horror game. Let's discuss it in more detail. So, let's talk about the goods. Must be something good. Let's see. Well, if you do like survival horror games, that is to say, the limited resource management, looking for health, solving puzzles, running around aimlessly unless you decide to use a walkthrough, then I suppose you might enjoy this game. And while I do enjoy all of that, I like there to be actual survival horror in my game. That is to say, I want to be pursued by some mutated abomination that is more well-hung than Ron Jeremy, while trying to escape from a zombie-ravaged city. So while the fact that might be a positive for most of you, it isn't for me. Let's move on to the birds. So where to start? First of all, why do we keep insisting on making games in 2024 or 2025 that look like they came out on the Super Nintendo? This game has all the classic hallmarks of a SNES RPG, all the way from the pixelated, frankly, god-awful looking graphics, all the way down to the fact that the game lacks voice acting. That's another thing that I tend to find in survival horror games. There's always voice acting. Resident Evil had it all the way back in 1996, so why the hell does this game not have it? And before you say to me, oh, but OCG, oh boy, this is an indie game. This got its money via Kickstarter. Well, I think they should have raised a little bit more money and they could have put some actual voice actors into the game. That would have made it instantly more interesting than it is. Another thing I didn't particularly enjoy about this game is just how frankly dull and uninteresting the storyline is. Like I said, I was expecting something along the lines of Wolfenstein mixed with a bit of Resident Evil. You know, scientific experiments that are being performed by the Nazis, turning people into zombies, turning people into mutants, turning people into something that wouldn't look out of place in a Michael Jackson lookalike competition. Simply playing as a French soldier who's trying to find his brother is, dull, boring, uninteresting. In my opinion, anyway. Another thing that seems to be wrong with this game is that I was promised a survival horror game. But outside of being attacked by enemies and I think I counted one jump scare in the whole game, this game isn't scary at all. This game is about as frightening as finding a grey hair in your nappy. That's diaper to you American viewers. So what do we got? No voice acting, outdated graphics, boring, monotonous, repetitive, uninteresting. I think that's enough for me to declare that CONSCRIPT is dog shit. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, my totally not biased review for CONSCRIPT. If you enjoyed this little review of mine, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't enjoyed it, well then feel free to give me a thumbs down. But please remember the single most important thing I always tell you, dear viewer, and that is to always stay obsessed with gaming. Say goodbye, Bertram.
Are you still here? Oh, you must have really enjoyed this video then. In that case, you had better subscribe to the channel and check out our other content. Otherwise, you're a booby pants, and no one wants to be a booby pants.